I've always been, pretty intrigued by the game of basketball. I was also a football player, but, my family, all the guys in my family played basketball. And every time I got together with anybody in my family, that's really all we did. So, it was pretty second nature to me. My father played all while he was growing up. So in my city, he was kind of a big deal. So when I grew up, everybody was talking about I was his son and, how good of a basketball player he was. Things like that, and I was just introduced to it at a very young age, and I started to take a liking to it, from as early as I can remember. So it's just been a constant battle to get as good as I can and make everybody proud. And for me to be there for 4 years, I was able to grow as a man, as a basketball player, and as a person. He really gave me a lot of flexibility to do a lot of things on the court and expand my game and kind of see what I can really do and maximize my potential. So, I'm always forever grateful for the opportunity that Bobby Crimmins gave me and the whole College of Charleston. Going to a small school was a little bit different from a lot of other guys that I meet, but for me, it was a great path. I wouldn't have chosen anything different. Yeah, first of all, being drafted was a huge thing for me. When I came out of college, I was supposed to go undrafted. Most people said, you never go to the NBA. Your career is for sure going to be overseas. And, I kept fighting through and made it. My relationship with Kobe Bryant was really good. He saw the potential in me, at the very beginning. I wasn't really backing down from him or anybody else. And, that's pretty much why he called me the mini Mamba. I mean, he sees that I have a knack for scoring the ball. And, he just kind of got with it. I mean, he saw how competitive I was every day in practice. He saw how competitive I was in the games. And, he really took me under his wing. He would tell me things to help me out. He would always give me things to live by. And, it was more about the mentality more than it was about physical skills and things like that with him. And it was more about a mind game more than anything else. So that's the biggest thing I took away from him. Yeah, it was weird. After one game, I had to do a bunch of interviews on the court after the game, and everybody was already in the locker room. When I finally came into the locker room, I was hearing everybody like, yeah, we're gonna call him the mini Mamba. Man, he sure does like to shoot. I mean, he likes to shoot just like you. And Kobe Bryant, I heard him when I walked in. He was the first face that I saw. He was like, yeah, he does. And he was like, I think that's a great name. And it was actually Matt Barnes and Luke Walton who came up with the name, but Kobe Bryant pretty much co-signed it. When I walked in, I'm like, who are you guys talking about? And they're like, yeah, you know who we're talking about. We're talking about you. The guy likes to shoot the ball a lot. So, it was funny. Everybody laughed, and, but the name stuck. I really grinded. I was in the D-League for a whole season. I was one of the last call-ups for the playoffs. I ended up starting in the playoffs against the San Antonio Spurs, where we were swept. But, it was a good experience for me. I thought I would have some more opportunities afterwards. Even after that, I went to Summer League and I played really well. I still didn't get any opportunities for the NBA, but, maybe it just wasn't my path. For a lot of guys, you grow up dreaming about playing in the NBA and having this long, historical career, but when you get older, you just realize that, everybody has their own path, and maybe that's not the path for you. So, I took it with a grain of salt, and I kept moving. Because, man, it's super cold there, and it's pretty secluded. So for me, it was a great way for me to just focus exclusively on basketball and getting better and winning. And that's what my team did there in Russia. We played really well together, probably one of the funnest teams I've been on. Coach Andrea Trinchieri was very great for me. One of the best coaches I've ever had. And he really gave me a lot of confidence in myself that I could really do anything on the basketball court. And, I took that with me. It was great. Obradovic, another great coach. I've been lucky to be coached by some of the best coaches ever in Europe. And, he taught me so much. The way that he coaches the game, the way that he thinks about the game is almost like a science. And he breaks everything down. Everything that you do has, every move that you make or somebody else makes, there's a counter move. And you know, he's always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. So the season was great. You know, my teammates were great. We got to our first Final Four ever, and you know, it was a season to remember. You know, I take a lot from that season. It feels like, you know, I had 3 seasons in one that season because of all the knowledge that I gained and just by so much that we did.